What up, guys? It's Lost Griff. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be showing you guys, and honestly I'm going to make this as quick as I can in terms of the intro, but we're just going to be going over the best controls, or overall just some things you should look over, because there's no such thing as the best controls or best controller. There's an optimized controls and optimized controller. Those are two entirely different things. Optimized controls would be using all controls that are easy to access and all can lead to learning a combo in the easiest way possible. And non-optimized controls might be, oh, my jumps, right here, my attacks right next to my jump, and I misinput it all the time, etc., like something like that. So let me show you guys how to optimize your controls. So there's no such thing as the best controls, as much as people will claim it, and as great of a tagline for a thumbnail and title as there is, there's no such thing as a best controller, best controls. So you know me, guys, I run personally the FightPad Pro, aka the GameCube controller from the Switch. It's basically a very similar layout to a PS5, but the main difference is the 4-button placement. So as you can see, those 4 buttons are in very, very weird spots, and I mean, a lot of people don't like it. So I'm not saying this is the best controller at all by any standards, but in the bottom left you should be able to see what my inputs are like, and always be thinking about how you can make your controls the best and then never change them again, because the best thing to do in this game is to set one thing of controls and these buffer frames and all that kind of stuff, and then never change it again, so that there's no new thing to get used to. There's never a slow, skill floor or skill ceiling you have to get to in a certain set of controls, because if you change your neutral special button, you change your neutral attack button, you add a new keybind, you're going to be messing up for a while. So this is the best way to optimize your controls. Your attack, special, and jump type layouts don't really matter that much. They're personal preference for the most part, but I recommend making them one of the 4 buttons on your controller. For example, if you're using a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, then you want to make it one of these 4 buttons. If you're using a PS4 controller, you can also do that. But one thing I'm starting to realize people are doing that I recommend is running dodge and jump as bumper buttons, which would be these 2 back buttons. The reason why, I mean, you can do the front ones too, but like pro level players have been using that for jump. I use it personally for dodge. I use my left trigger, but you can make one of them your jump, and it's so helpful with like combos. I've tried it so many times, and I just cannot get into like the rhythm of it after playing so much already, that it's just so hard to change a control that's so pivotal to your playstyle. So if you're a brand new player, try trigger jump. It's really good, and it's something I've realized is really important to, doing certain combos, and makes it a lot easier. So I recommend, if you're a newer player, you haven't got used to the controls yet, try trigger jump, make it a part of your playstyle. I guarantee you the combos you'll learn to get into afterwards will be so good. That's just one thing I wanted to start with, but again, attack and special, totally personal preference. Whatever feels the most natural, and you're gonna have to kind of get used to them on your own. Dodge is why I recommend making a bumper or trigger. That's just how I recommend it. And then neutral attack. Neutral attack is basically, again, it's the neutral attack that your character does. I mean, there's no real easier way to put it. A neutral attack, for example, would be Shaggy's punch he does with armor. Another good example would be Finn's sword, where he charges it up, like holding it up like this. That's like the Finn neutral strong, is what I like to call it, instead of neutral attack. It's basically your forward smash, if you're a Smash player. Take it as you will. Especially if you're a Batman player out there, Batman players watching this video, highly recommend you buying this. It's so important. It can help your combos like so much, because it could just overall just improve your ability to be more precise with what moves you're doing. Why would you not want another button for your attack? So, yo, I hate to pause a video like this, so I'm gonna make it as brief as possible. I just want to let you guys know that I do have a Discord that I'm trying to grow, so I'd appreciate if you guys could go join it if you're enjoying any of this content in this video. Also, we're almost at 3K subs. I'd appreciate if you guys can help me at that goal. Go ahead and subscribe, and check my socials down in the description below. Right after that, we have neutral special. Same deal here. There's a lot of characters that are very based on their neutral special to get things done, and are very reliant on that to get things done. So if you want to, highly recommend you could try to bind this too. It's very important to have that. But if you don't really have any characters that really care about neutral special, like for example, I needed neutral special whenever I played Tom and Jerry. Neutral special is nice for a few other characters, but that's the main one that comes to mind. And so, yeah, I mean, it really depends on character, but in my opinion, it's good to be used to having a neutral special button. And with neutral evade, as much as it is important to have specific DI and dodge timings, people really overrate this button. I feel like it's better to just dodge in whichever way you're DIing out of a combo. As useful as neutral evade can be, I feel like people are kind of, I might be totally wrong on this. Again, if you're a higher level player watching this, and I'm wrong on this, let me know and I'll pin your comment, but I genuinely don't think neutral evade is that good to run. And again, this is just if you want to bind your D-pad, but me personally, I don't really see the point of running D-pad in this, except for a little bit more precision. Here's another big thing that people don't remember. Pickup item is so important, dude. You don't understand how many bugs players I've been playing against that throw out their safe, right? They throw out their safe, right? You break it. You break their safe, and then you'll immediately press the pickup button and then beat them to their own item, which I can proceededly just punish them with. And just get punishes out of because I have their item. You know, it's ridiculous how little people have this button binded. And FinGem users, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not want to bind pickup item? It's so good. And you'll notice if I'm running this other setting that I'll, skip to real quick just to show you, which is attack pickups items. See, you can have this on if you want to, but it'll just lead to so many misinputs. Just bind a button to grab an item. I genuinely think it's so much better. Okay, so next settings. Now there's vibration. I mean, this is totally personal preference. No one really cares. And then swap air side and neutral attack, also completely personal preference. I think you don't need to do either of these because I genuinely don't see the point of it. As long as you have no settings that you need to get used to, then you're fine. But if you do feel like jab should be its own separate button, and then the neutral attack should be a specific button, whatever you prefer, then go ahead. I mean, nobody's really gonna judge you for that. I think it's totally valid. Then instead, whenever I hold A and the forward button, it'll forward smash. And whenever I press the neutral button, it'll jab. In fact, I'd actually argue this might be better to run sometimes, depending on your specific jab combos. I mean, this is personal preference. I think it's a pretty good setting to run, depending on what you think. And yeah, same deal with neutral attack and air side. Horizontal dead zone and vertical dead zone. I get asked about this all the time. These two settings are important, but they're completely, again, personal preference. If you're a beginner and you're noticing, for example, here's a pretty big problem I still have on Batman to this day, is that whenever I'm trying to up special someone, for example, with my bat cape, right? Sometimes I'll misinput grapple. And do you guys notice where I'm inputting my GameCube controller? I'm aiming it to the top right. I'm not aiming up. Whenever I aim it to the top right, it doesn't up B. But yeah, so just try to find out how sensitive your controller is to certain directions and make sure that it's proper. Because again, the higher the dead zone means the farther you need to be out for it to be that move. As far as I know, that's why I think it works. So that means whenever I'm aiming up, like it'll respond to me tilting my mine up, while whenever I do it sideways.
Can't use a bomb yet. That bomb's not ready yet. Out of that bomb.
See how far I have to go?
Not ready. Out of that bomb.
There we go. Finally, almost all the way to the left. I had to in order to get it to the dead zone, and I like that. I actually am a big fan of that because side B is very easy to misinput. So you can make that even. I mean, again, you can make that as far out as you want to. Again, I just want to make it clear that whenever I say side B in my videos, it's special. It's just I say side B because Smash. It's a habit. It's what people say. So yeah, so that's how I feel about vertical and horizontal dead zone. And buffer max frames. I have no clue why top players say they run this lower, right? Because you're basically saying that you have more time to input max frames of a button, right? You're basically saying you have more time to buffer a hit, which I don't see why that would be a bad. Like you have a bigger time window, which is reactable, 30 frames, in order to hit someone or prepare for that. And I don't know. I feel like that's a better setting to run it on the higher end of the spectrum. But again, if you just want to recommend it or 30, whatever, it's personal preference. Again, and not a setting you need to change. Input buffer hold. This is completely a no-brainer in my opinion. This is a garbage control. That'll basically make it so that you have to, for example, if you jump and then if you punch someone and then jump, you cannot just press it. It won't work. Well, hold up. I don't know why it's working now, but like usually whenever you try to go into a combo and you buffer attacks, you basically have to do it real time, which is pretty pointless. Or at least you have to hold it, which is kind of silly in my opinion. I don't really understand why you do that. Then this is just total personal preference. Double crouch, platform drop. This just basically makes it so that without going in the air, you're able to drop platforms. Like, have you noticed? I literally can't fall through the platform. I have to jump first. You have to jump and hold down in order to go down, which I prefer just double. Double crouching in order to get off of it, but that's just me. And again, tap jump, very bad. You're basically unable to use, up attacks. Like, for example, if you don't use C-stick, like this is C-stick, I don't know if it's picking it up, but this is me using C-stick to up attack, and then this is me using up, like the A button to up attack. I'll use a variation of both. I don't stick to just one thing, but it's good to be able to aim things up, while on the ground. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be. How would I up special if I hold up? How would I ground it up special if I had tap jump, for example? I genuinely don't know. No, literally look what it says. By enabling this option, you are opting into an unrecommended and less responsive experience. Bro, they really just dissed somebody who uses this. Yeah, so like if I'm holding up, I can't do a grounded up. I would have to press it near instantly. Like I don't know why people would run tap jump. Even in real Smash game, I don't understand anybody do that. So highly recommend not using tap jump. It basically limits your movement. Now, you guys are gonna flame me for this one. You might be thinking, now why if you don't like tap jump, why would you run fastfall tap? The reason why I run fastfall tap is just because it makes down air drag combos a lot easier, because you can basically down air and then tap the like let's say you have a down air combo, like on Finn, I have my down air combo where I down air, nair, forward air, side B, and it makes it a lot easier to drag down that way whenever you can just and then immediately you can fast fall and then throw out that nair. You know what I mean? It just makes it easier for me. But again, it's personal preference. I have no idea what pros prefer. That is just a setting I run out of preference, so don't take my word on it. And then finally, right stick. Now, you guys might be completely, you know, as a beginner, hating on this button, but for PS5 players, it will be this little right stick that you guys never use in like almost any games you play, right? But this stick is literally one of the biggest parts of MULTIVERSUS, because down airs basically have downwards momentum associated with them whenever using them normally. I'm basically fast falling the down air right now. Whenever I'm doing it with a C stick, I'm just able to basically do it completely for free. And then again, it's the same deal with other ways of momentum. You want to be able to use the C stick as much as possible. I'd recommend beginners, you know, incorporate C stick into learning combos and just make it a part of your habit, because C stick is so good. It helps you learn how to use tilts so much better, because normally tilts with just this stick could be a lot more inaccurate. I don't know what you would call it on a PS5 or PS4 controller or Xbox controller, whatever. I just think it's a very, you know, important part of learning how to combo. It's just learning how the C stick operates and how to get the most value out of it as a access of your buttons. I want to make a discretionary thing about this new settings that's going to be added probably within the next few weeks of this video being uploaded. If there is a button on your character that you find very important, a good example, Batman up B, Finn Gem, Steven up B, Arya up B and down air, or of course the most balanced move, Harley Fair or down air. If you want to bind these all to specific things, by the time you watch this video, there's a high chance that there's new commands they've added to controller that make it so that you can bind these to certain items. You might be able to bind, I personally have about 2 or 3 buttons left on my thing open, so I can't really do much with this. There's not really much of anything I can do with these new inputs, but I can get rid of neutral evade and add a new button. I have about 1 or 2 buttons left, right? So I'm probably going to bind buttons that I find to be useful on every single character I play. And a good example of this, in my opinion, is up special. Up special is good on so many different characters, it's not even funny, and in fact, it carries 90% of the cast. It's the same deal with down air. It's both very important moves. Down air and up B seem to just be very important moves in this game. So I recommend you bind one of them to one of your, you know, leftover buttons and make it a habit so that you can make it a really quick input for you. Because I personally believe that having this quick button to be able to access what in other games takes a lot of practice to have the precision to always hit is insane and will show for some just ridiculous optimization of specific characters in this game. So don't sleep on the directional moves that they give you to bind for free, because almost no other game does that, especially a platform fighter. So we're gonna probably see a ridiculous amount of high-level pro play that has little to no cracks in gameplay because of how easy it is to input specific moves. The controller settings in this game are so insanely good. Do not underutilize them, and I genuinely believe that the more that they optimize controllers and, you know, things you can do to customize your controls, the better players will become. So don't forget this screen. Make sure you use it. I'm going to just real quick go over the interface settings, which I believe to be very important as well. I think you should put bottom both as your scoreboard position, and outlines don't really matter in my opinion as long as you can see them. Overall, I just believe that running both and bottom is just the best way to view it. I mean, it's very similar to Smash, very similar to other games, to where you can see damage, you can see cooldowns, you can see all these different things, and it doesn't clutter your screen like other people claim it does. It doesn't clutter my screen to have this high 5 meter under me. So why would it clutter my screen to have cooldowns under me as bugs, for example, or having the names of the enemies at the bottom? Because it just helps you keep track of what's going on the screen easier, in my opinion. Okay, so that's all I have for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry it was very long, but hopefully I made it easier using chapters to navigate around. If you guys found any sort of success from watching this video and learned something, make sure you drop a sub and follow my socials in the description. Remember that I stream very often, about 2 to 3 times a week, so if you want to keep updated with that, join my Discord. We always announce in my Discord whenever I'm going to be live, so I'd appreciate if you could come by and check it out. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Appreciate what you watching this video and giving all the love you did. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.